the main issue is just that like a large portion of anime studios are only able to make their money back on their investment through mega fans that buy like Blu-rays and like merchandise. And unfortunately, the demographic most likely to be that kind of ultra hardcore fan are otakus, and otakus are pedophiles. So like to bait them, they like go in that direction, I think, often. There's also just a really strong cultural normalization of high school being like the last time in your life that you're free in Japan, which is why it's so common to have stories set in high school no matter what the subject is. Like they'll have anime that will be about like time travel or technology or whatever, and it's like 17-year-olds doing it. It's like, well, why? And the reason for that is because Japanese work culture is really really oppressive. And basically people often think of those times of their life as being like the only ones where there's like room. Okay, you know how like the incel crisis over here is pretty bad because after you get out of college or if you don't go to college or whatever, like people have trouble socializing because we don't really have like physical spaces where it's normalized for people to congregate. We don't really have a town hall anymore. So people just kind of stay in their homes and everything gets delivered to them and they don't really interact, socialize or whatever. In Japan, it's like that, but 10 times as bad. Everything over here that makes this bad is worse over there on like every level. The physical spaces are even more like commodified and spread out. People are even more isolated and like alienated from the products of their culture. Work culture is even worse. People work longer hours. The dating culture over there is even more like staunch and conservative, so it's harder for people to approach each other. And not to be like, like for men specifically, not to be like glib or whatever, but like porn does a lot of bad stuff to people over here. It does a lot of worse stuff over there, okay? Think of how like Asian men are presented in pornography and like ask yourself if that might do anything to like your average Japanese NEETs like masculinity crisis or whatever. Like imagine how they feel about that, you know? In basically any kind of like international interracial context, like Asian people are presented as being the weaker or less masculine. So like because over here it's like, oh well, the black guy's the most masculine. Okay, but white people are often presented neutrally, whereas like in the international context, that's not the case with Asian people. So I think a lot of the factors over there are like worse than they are over here when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I think all of this like contributes to why there's that really weird otaku lolicon culture over there. None of this, by the way, is a defense. I still think it's super creepy. But obviously, like even really creepy things can be explained by like socioeconomic factors. That things don't just happen. So I think that's why things have borne out that way to yeah to a large extent. So you'd move to Japan? No, I would not. I'd like to I would love to visit Japan again. I don't want to live there though, not at all. But most people in Japan have Asian ethnicity. Okay, think of it this way. Okay, the average dick size in America is like I don't know 5.5 inches or something, but in it's like I don't know like 7, 8, whatever inches. And a ton of guys with average sized dicks here in America think their dick is small because sets the standard so high. So if you're even if you're in an environment where is setting a standard that has nothing to do with like the reality of the area that you live in, it's still like with people's head. So likewise in Japan, like it's not as though just because Japan is mostly Japanese people that Japanese like young men who talk on the Western websites as well, or even just aware of what's going on in the world, aren't aware of the stereotypes of Asian men being considered less masculine, which probably not good for their mental health. A lot of Japanese weird rapey stuff. Yeah, and that's not for no reason either. One of the reasons why there's so much like non-con and weird stuff and ooh my hips are moving on their own bullshit in hentai and Japanese is because they have a really conservative dating culture. So it's considered impure or kind of like lascivious or improper for women to be like sexually interested. So like the idea of like if a woman is openly interested in having sex in Japan, that's like a big culturally deviant thing. To an extent we have that over here in the West, but there is a big difference. Like over here in the West, even in like Republican-esque circles, the idea of like a girl wanting to go on a date because she wants to get laid, that's like I think most American like that's not like that crazy of an idea. Sure, she'll face sexism, there will be slut shaming, but like that's not like an insane concept. Whereas I genuinely think in like a lot of Japan, the idea of a girl like actively going out to get laid, like that's I'm not trying to play the stereotype here, but they are more conservative when it comes to their dating standards. So I think it's considered like unwomanly for a woman to indicate that she's interested in sex, which is why there's so much stuff in their porn, which goes to show just how bad that standard is, right? Like it's the preserving your femininity by being, probably has a lot to do with like frustration from men as well. The idea that like they can't like ask anyone out or get a date, so it's like, ah, well, I'll just you whatever. Again, not defending it, but like in like an environment where there's so much pent up frustration about gender standards and like sexual dating habits and courting rituals and stuff, the idea of like fetishizing that behavior, I mean, it sounds like a kind of, you know, like a one leads to the other thing, which is not good. Yeah, and see the labia minora. So there's been an upsurge of young women getting labiaplasties where their inner labia is cut off due to thinking you're not meant to see it. That is so weird. That is so goddamn strange. Yeah. Or people like bleaching their assholes or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. So guys, they want more sex, but they also slut shame women who have more sex. Yep, seems about right. That happens here. The same people online who are like bitter virgins, the guys, are the same types of guys who will like shit on women for being lascivious or slutty or whatever. It's the same exact same thing. We are all the same. Let shared misogyny unite us. We are all one people, one global species. Yeah, the Madonna whore complex. What do you mean by somebody being a NEET? Not NEAT, it's NEET. It's no education, employment, or training. It basically just means like a shut-in, like somebody who's not doing anything. The Japanese term is hikikomori. It means basically the same thing. It's an overlap, like it overlap with the term incel, like over here. They don't mean the same thing, but functionally, we're generally talking about similar groups of people. We're gesturing in the same direction. Get a new chair? Never. You should check out the Witch Hat Atelier manga. It's very cute and progressively written. It does look cute. I don't know if I'd check out a manga just because it looks cute, but it does look cute. That's cute. I like the color teal. That's a good color for a cloak. So what was up with Abe wanting to encourage people to have sex / reproduce? Was he a radical for that? No, basically, like, basically everybody in Japan wants them to have a higher national birth rate. Like Abe was more known for it, but it's a pretty like it's a pretty like broadly accepted premise, you know. Normally I think it's kind of bullshit because immigration usually does a really good job of shoring up like a slightly below average replacement rate, but Japan genuinely is in a really bad spot with regards to their population curve. So, you know, it's yeah. Wasn't he refusing to fix the reasons why they have a low birth rate? Well, the problem is like this is something that like fascists can never get over, right? Like Russia's tried to do this too, okay? The fact like the because fascists are incapable of sociological analysis. Abe wasn't a fascist. He just was friends with like all the Japanese fascists and got along with them and did a lot of stuff they agreed with and believed a lot of the things they believed. But he wasn't a fascist, okay? The problem is that like they're incapable of sociological analysis. They don't understand why birth rates go down. So a social conservative like Abe could never like meaningfully critique or change the factors within Japanese life that lead to a low birth rate. It's economic and it's social, but they don't like they don't want to fix it because like that's conservatism for you right there, like a disregard for the public good. So they just say like, hey, can we please, hey, we'll reward people for, but it never works. Not really. It's not a long-term sustainable solution. If you want the birth rates to go up, then you have to like systemically address, well, why are people less? And well, it's because everyone in your country works 64 hours a week, and in your dating life / culture bullshit is so like nobody's talking to each other or meeting each other. I mean, like this is a country that's so known for its like socially reclusive tendencies that I remember articles being written on a, let's be fair here, probably very uncommon, but nonetheless at least existent and acknowledged trend of like women servicing their sons while they were getting ready for their like college entrance exams because they didn't want their sons to get distracted with a girlfriend. I remember there being articles on that, like, yeah, don't get distracted with a girlfriend, like what, just focus on your studies or whatever, which absolutely sounds like the premise to a hentai dojin or whatever, but I do remember shit being written on that. Again, this probably happened like maybe 5 times. But the fact that it was even written on, at the very least, indicates a national anxiety about that kind of behavior. We will never be okay? Yeah, probably not. Sounds like Chris Chan shit, lol. It's reverse Chris Chan shit in this case, actually. Yeah, I did see the Karl Marx anime that was put out by the Young Communist League of China. I did see that. What, that was like some Fujoshi shit, wasn't it? That was really funny. It's like, how do we get the word of Karl Marx across to the youth? Will be a hot Bishonen guy. He is hot. I mean, I don't think he looked like that though. Maybe he did. We only have like paintings of Karl Marx when he was old. Maybe he looked exactly like this when he was 23, you know? Like like an anime character running around a world of men. We don't know. That's seinen, not shonen. Yeah, yeah, it's for an older audience. I may be biased, but I think Genshin is way less weird with its child characters than a lot of anime games. I recently saw Joseph Anderson just started playing 13 Sentinels, which is wild, okay? I'm not even going to get into the plot stuff, but basically it's like it's literally like piloting teenagers piloting mechas to fight against alien invaders, which they do by activating a button that's on their body, which of course the guys have on like their wrists and the girls all have on like, oh, here it's on my belly, it's on my like upper thigh, and then they get teleported into the robot naked, and then you fight this like into the breach style grid tactical RPG with gigantic HUD avatars of your pilots naked inside a control booth up in the top, like left or right or whatever. The most anime shit, it was like ripping off so much stuff all at once. I think they literally said Men in Black like twice, I think, in like the opening. I smell burnt toast. Yeah, it was pretty bad. They did have one character whose character like arc seems to be about breasting boobily. But thankfully I think she's an adult. Hold on. 13 Sentinels. Yeah, this is what she looks like. She's an adult. It's okay. She's the one adult, but this is what she looks like. So everyone else is it's a really gorgeous painterly style too. Like the actual art style of the game is phenomenal. I'm not dissing it at all. And then like and you'll have like some serious looking people standing around, and she'll walk in. She has jiggle physics on a 2D painterly art style where her ass, look at her hips, dude. Holy shit. Her lab coat is getting like stretched outwards. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm not even mad, dude. If you can do shit like this and they're adults, I don't care. Legit, I don't care. If you have a woman walk in and she's like, she breasts boobily from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, jiggling the entire way, and then talks about like time travel mechanics when she gets to the right side of the screen. If she's an adult, I do not care. I don't give a shit. I'm fine with fan service. I'm completely fine with it. It's just, yeah. I like her braid most, fight me. Yeah, well, the art style is really nice. But most of the characters sexualized in this shit are young girl. Yep, I think she's literally like the only adult female character. I don't know if she later gets like attacked by the narrative and made to be in a naked mecha or whatever. But there's one chubby girl who I actually thought had a really cute design. Oh, thank God. I Googled her and it's just her in clothes. Oh my God. Thank the Lord. Wait, that's a cute character design. This is what I mean about the game actually being really pretty. See, she's like, normally anime girls are like sticks, but like she's kind of chubby. She has like flowers in her hair. That's really cute. Okay, but she's cute. That's what I'm saying. That's the point of what I'm saying here. Apparently, she doesn't even get made a naked mecha pilot too, which like, thank God, we've won. What game is this? 13 Sentinels? It's got a lot of weird anime bullshit there, dude. So, what's the chubby girl from Stars Align? Is this a GIF? Why is it not playing? There we go. Did that play audio? It didn't? Okay, thank God. That anime that got canceled? Well, a lot of anime gets canceled. But she does a dance. She's like chubby anime girl? I don't know. She kind of rocks it too. Honest to God. What do you think of Hell of a Boss? I like Hell of a Boss. She's not chubby. She looks like a normal. She's visibly chubby compared to every other. No, no, no. Compared to everyone else in the show, it's okay. And people are like, "Is it chubby?" Okay, here, hold on. Kinuyo Kasuga. So everyone else is anorexic. It's anime, man. Maybe it's more clear when seeing them not dancing. Like See? The rounder face, and also the line doesn't connect. But it's like a respectful depiction of a chubby person because they're not just like drawn to like where it's a joke. Bro, anime is not body positive. Stars Align is. Stars Align's it's a good thing. There's a trans character. There's a trans main character and a non-binary main character. No, there's a trans side character and a non-binary main character. Okay, there's a lot, okay?